Boaters traveling along the Allegheny River or traveling to places like Pymatuming State Park in Crawford County this summer should heed warning. There could be invasive species traveling with you. Biologist Sarah Stallman from Sea Grant, a national network of universities that performs scientific research and educates students and the public on marine issues, spoke to boaters and fishers at the Crooked Creek Environmental Learning Center in Manor Township last week about hydrilla, carp, and the poster child of invasive species, zebra mussels.
These are considered one of the greatest threats to freshwater biodiversity worldwide, so invasives are a huge issue. I think it's second only to habitat loss and climate change. What I'd just like to bring up is that these species don't care about jurisdictional boundaries that we put up.
For example, the flathead catfish that can be caught locally is considered highly invasive in the eastern portion of the state. Zebra mussels are introduced to streams to make the water clear, but make a thick shell around anything living or non-living. Another invasive species are Asian carp, famous for jumping up to 10 feet out of the water when frightened by an electric motor. Stallman said the invasive species, which primarily come via ballast water from the Caspian Sea, can cause ecological harm to other species as well as harm to local tourism areas and potential health impacts to both humans and dogs. She said fishers should also think a second longer before disposing of unused bait.
A lot of people will go out fishing, they have the baits in their bucket, and then they're done. They didn't use all the bait, so they dump it out. And that's a huge issue, and that's how a lot of these things have been introduced. So never ever dump your bait, always put it in the trash if you're done with it. Unless you yourself caught the bait and you know the water is from the same place where you're fishing, that's different.
Environmental Learning Center Program Director Dennis Halley explained he was introduced to the Sea Grant program by longtime Roaring Run watershed volunteer John Links. Halley contacted Stallman in November.
I went to their website and saw that they were available to do programs, and I thought that was something that would be really interesting down here. I said, I think it's very important because people don't think about things when they're moving bait and their equipment and boats and things from one stream to another when they don't realize the implications that can have, you know.
Stallman, a fellow fisher and boater who lives in Erie, speaks to tournament fishers before competitions and checks their boats for invasive species, as well as school groups regularly.
I travel all over to give programs, give presentations. People ask me all the time, and I'm available to do that. I'll do them. A lot of what we do is take scientific information that's very technical and kind of complicated at times and bring it down to the user level and be able to convey that information to the public. So we teach them about different things that are going on.
Her research also took her to Argentina and other places in the United States. After graduating from Penn State Barron with a degree in biology, Stallman started at the Tom Ridge Environmental Center along Presque Isle doing research on brown bullhead catfish in Presque Isle 10 years ago. She has since also worked in Harrisburg and earned a master's degree from Shippensburg University before returning to her hometown. Vince Bruno of Katanning attended the presentation with wife Patty and grandson Dawson Porter, who fishes in the Allegheny River and other local creeks.
It was interesting. Very interesting.
Stallman also cautioned against releasing goldfish and turtles into natural waters, as they can also be considered invasive in a different environment.